Welcome to another episode of Hack Naked TV, recorded December 17th, 2015. I'm your host, Aaron Lyons, and today I'm going to be talking about the FBI using 0 days, a remote code execution in Fireeye, recent attack against the root DNS servers, and what else am I going to talk about? Oh, drone registration. All that and more. This episode is brought to you by Cybrary. Get the latest security and hacking training from cybrary.it. You can visit hacknaked.tv/Cybrary for a referral link from our listeners. And brought to you by Black Hills Information Security, the leaders in pen testing and active defense. Email consulting at blackhillsinformationsecurity.com to get a quote today. So recently, in an interview, the FBI admitted to using 0 days. Big surprise, but they actually came out and said it now. In that interview, they state this is a trade-off between trying to identify a person who poses a threat to public safety and releasing the vulnerability to the software makers that, if left unpatched, could compromise the safety of consumers. My take is that they probably usually hoard these and don't release them, but I'm a little bit of a pessimist when it comes to actions of our government. Take it or leave it. The link for the full interview and an article is in our show notes. Other interesting developments from the government: drones will have to be registered as of February 2016. Registration is going to cost $5 per drone, and that is not individual. Each individual drone is going to have to be registered, and that is any drone from 250 grams to 25 kilograms. That's about half a pound to about 55 pounds. Anything over 55 pounds is considered a commercial drone, and there's a whole different set of regulations that cover commercial drones. Registration is free for the first month. It's going to be interesting what happens after the holiday. I'm sure there's lots of drones under the trees already for Christmas. Fines for flying a unregistered drone can be up to $250,000 and 3 years in jail. People under the age of 13 cannot register a drone by themselves, so an adult will have to register it for them. And one other note, the FAA does not distinguish between RC aircraft in drones. So all of your model airplane flyers out there also are affected by this new regulation. So just a couple of weeks ago, the root DNS servers were attacked. The first attack took place on November 30th and it lasted about 2.5 hours. And the second attack happened a day later and lasted about an hour. It's likely that the source of this attack was a relatively large botnet. Why this attack happened is still unknown. The end user was largely unaffected by this. They either didn't notice it or didn't contribute the outage to an ongoing attack. The root DNS servers saw a 250-fold increase in number of requests during these attacks. What was unique about these attacks was that the source addresses were widely and evenly distributed, while the query name was not. So that's very different from your normal reflective attack, which seeks to overwhelm a single target. Also in the news, there was a recent remote code execution for Fireeye. So Fireeye is a malware protection system that scans incoming traffic to identify malware. This vulnerability allows remote code execution simply by monitoring that traffic. There's a proof of concept code up on ExploitDB. Fireeye has issued a patch, so if you have a Fireeye device on your network, patch it. So this remote code execution gives the attacker a root shell on your Fireeye device, and they can then start monitoring all traffic in and out of your network. Your Fireeye devices, this is a traffic inspection, network inspection device, is one of the most privileged devices on your network if you have it. Like same goes for just about any security device. Usually they have very high privileges on your network. So patch. Just to give dues to who found this. This was found by Google's Project Zero. In other news, just a quick couple announcements. I don't have much more for news. Bsides New York registration is open. It's going to be hosted January 16th in 2016 at the John Jay College. Registration is free. You can go to the registration at bsidesnyc.org/registration. Link is in our show notes. Bsides conferences are excellent and can't beat the cost of free. That's it for this episode of Hack Naked TV. We'll see you next time.